Hey everyone, I'm RVRocks, and after years of only watching like 2 TV shows, I am finally finding myself back in that whole watching television thing. Between the ages of 13 through 19, my entire entertainment career came from the wonderful world of YouTube. Back in the days where I didn't really have any modern devices to play newer games, I would come to love Let's Plays, during their renaissance too. However, as I've become more and more fortunate to have all this modern hardware to play whatever video game I could possibly want on, I've been finding out that all that YouTube stuff has really been losing my attention. And with the recent wrap-ups of the few dedicated shows I did follow, I quickly found myself needing to consume new content and fast. Luckily for me, my sister had actually just reached out with a new show for me that she thought was the greatest. A little show called Infinity Train. I watched the first episode on a whim. I wasn't super hooked, so it took me until a few days later to watch the second episode. Honestly, I still wasn't in love. But then I got to episode 3, and something about episode 3, it had me hooked. I proceeded to watch all 4 books in the next 2 days. Personal life and responsibility be damned. And I came to a wonderful conclusion. Infinity Train is something else. Many fans of the classic cartoon show that is technically made for kids, but I don't think many children are going to get the full grasp of the content, jokes, and themes being explored here genre, are always asking themselves, like, when are we going to get the next Gravity Falls, or the next Avatar: The Last Airbender? And typically when exploring the genre, that's the comparison. How does this stack up to the 2 titans of the medium? Well, with complete sincerity, I think Infinity Train is its own titan right next to them. Because while it may have the sense of adventure and character building that is seen in Avatar, it also has the off-the-wall creativity, mystery, and humor of Gravity Falls. However, I believe comparing this show to these 2 is overall reductive, because Infinity Train and its exploration of themes is something I really haven't seen before, and especially not something I have seen in an animated kids show format. So you might be thinking to yourself, we get it, it's good, but what is this show even about? And honestly, I'd kinda recommend that you go into this show completely blind. The lacking of context I think is important for the first few episodes so you can experience the events with the main characters simultaneously. But if you don't want to do that or need some more selling, I get it. So from this point on, I will be discussing minor plot points as well as showing clips from various areas of the show. No big spoilers, but in any case, watch at your own risk, you have been warned. Infinity Train, at its core, is a show about a train that acts as a self-help book or therapy for whoever ends up there. People end up on this train after some form of traumatic event occurs in their life, something that they really need to work to get over. When someone ends up on the train, they get a number on their hand, acting as a sort of visual indicator to the growth they've undergone on the train. The lower the number, the more emotionally mature you have become in response to your trauma. In this train, there are seemingly infinite cars, each car having some kind of puzzle to solve, task to overcome, or lesson to be learned. These cars can range from full-blown societies that have their own history and way of living to just a small room with like a video game puzzle in it, with the train's ultimate goal being to help you grow as a person and understand that you need to overcome some issue in your life. This is, of course, keeping it pretty vague, but to be honest with you, the rules are pretty vague, given that each person we see on the train has a pretty different reason for ending up there. But you can already see how this show has the building blocks to be a pretty mature show with intense themes. But it only gets better from here. A lot of shows that share this demographic typically use their more whimsical world and lore as a motivator for the series. For instance, Gravity Falls uses the mystery of the small town as a way to keep you invested between episode to episode. Lots of shows use this kind of mentality, and oftentimes they fail to deliver a satisfying conclusion to what they've set up. However, in Infinity Train, its setting is much more in service to the characters than vice versa. Rather than the train being the main showcase, it's usually about the characters and their relationships with one another. I mean, most of the high points of this series are just 2 characters talking to each other and learning from it. There's action, elements of mystery and comedy, but those are never used to detract from the main point, the characters. Why they're on the train, how they grow, how they see the world around them both before and after they end up on the Infinity Train. Each season has a sort of theme to deal with. Season 1 being about maturity and understanding others. Season 2 being about finding your own identity. Season 3 being about toxic mindsets and what to do when you're confronted about them. And Season 4 being about the ever-present work to keep a relationship healthy. And once again, while all these seasons travel between different locales and locations, these out-of-the-box settings never detract from the main characters and their growth throughout the season. And shit like this is why I can't recommend the show enough. And a selling point that may entice you is that all of these episodes are really short. Just like a lot of modern cartoons, each episode totals at around 11 minutes long with 10 episodes per season, just equaling out around the runtime of your average shorter movie for each season. But this small runtime doesn't come at the cost of the storytelling, but rather once again serves to keep the plot laser focused on our characters and their growth. I don't know about you, but for me, hearing that something is pretty short is a really good selling point. Like, it's awesome and it won't take you too long to experience all that awesomeness. Pretty nicely when things work out like that. However, now we come to the real topic of the video. Infinity Train was unfortunately cancelled. And after 4 complete books, the last of which setting up some pretty cool stuff to be explored in the future. The creator, Owen Dennis, has stated on multiple occasions that there is supposedly already a complete script and several completed storyboards for Book 5, and that he planned for 8 total books to tell the complete Infinity Train story. But there is hope. Out of all the large multimedia companies, Warner Media seems to be the most in touch with its community, releasing the Snyder Cut and all that. So people have made a vow to trend #FinishInfinityTrain on certain dates, including today, and hope that Warner Media will finish the show as an HBO Max original or something. If you couldn't tell, I am also on that train, and this is my contribution to the dedicated work that fans are doing for this, because you gotta fight for what you believe in, right? Supposedly Book 5 was originally canned for not having a child entry point, and I say wholeheartedly, fuck that noise. Give me more adult-oriented shows that don't mention sex, swears, and violence every 5 seconds. And with that, I leave you, my humble viewer, to go help us out with our mission. If you haven't yet, watch Infinity Train. All 4 books are streaming now on HBO Max, and it probably won't set you back that far time-wise. And if you have, go post about it. Tell your mom to watch it. Engage with the fandom. Let's stand up proudly for what we want to see in the world, because Infinity Train is truly special. And if you think my channel is special, then why don't you subscribe to RVRocks and ring the bell, like this video, and comment your thoughts on Infinity Train. I have no idea if today will trend like how it did earlier in April, but I made this video to help spread the message. I love this show, and its success could help us see changes in industry standards that have always pissed me off. Either way, if you end up watching the show, come chat with me about it in the comments or over on Twitter at RVRocks. But before you do any of that, I have been RVRocks, and thank you so much for watching. See ya!